As a defender of the marketplace, you, my listener, should be a big fan of trailer parks. Trailer parks are where the poor live. They're often living in older model trailers from the 70s and 80s. They don't look great. They look a little shabby. They've got rust. Some of the wood has been rotting, and its effects show. And yet trailer parks and trailer homes are a real boon to common people, a real boon to poor people. In Dunlap, Tennessee, the mayor, Dwain Land, is a major landlord in the rental of trailer homes. He charges $400 or so to at least a couple of the people I spoke with this week. And they're glad to be renters there. And they're glad to have Dwain Land as landlord. And he has many good things said about him in my hearing. Now, there's a problem in Dunlap that this very nice picture belies, and that is that at the same time, Mayor Land, seen as a Christian man, seen by his renters as a very strong one to call if you have a problem, who will send a workman immediately to fix a broken heater or a leaky faucet. He has a blot on his name and on his fine reputation. And that blot, the question is, how big is that blot? Is it big, or is it just a small wart? Is it a cancer, or is it a small bruise that he obtained accidentally when helping some renter with a problem, a widow maybe with one leg and a problem, and he's gone there to help her and make things right in her shabby trailer. Well, I'd like to suggest that the blot on Mayor Dwain Land's record and the blot on his person is very large. In fact, it's so large that it should be lethal to him politically. That means that on Saturday, when voters in Dunlap town go to vote, they should vote him out of office because of this very large blot or mark on his person that takes away the glow and the shine of his good reputation among his customers. And even, I would say, among people such as Karen House, the editorial writer at the Dunlap News, who wrote a very fine editorial in his favor, pointing out his strengths in economic development, bringing a company to occupy an abandoned factory building, and getting funds for other aspects of economic development, a man of integrity, and certainly looking out for Dunlap, selling Dunlap. She says in her endorsement editorial, he's always selling Dunlap and Sequatchie County. Wherever he goes, he's a booster for his town and his people. These are good things. But there is one thing so great that the mayor has done in the past 2 years that it deserves. The town deserves to throw him out of office on account of this one thing that is simply, I would say, it's ungodly. And it is a mark against him, a grave mark against him, not a blister, not a wart, but I would like to suggest here on the David Tulis Show, a cancer. And the only way the city can cut this cancer out from its body politic is on Saturday to vote against Dwain Land and vote for someone who has heart and someone who has sympathy, and that is Jennifer Lockhart Greer. Now, the issue that I haven't revealed to you yet, the issue is the following. It is a 2-year harassment through the courts of an elderly couple, Thomas and Carol Gaddys. They live in a restored house built after the Great War, the war to prevent Southern independence, by a man who was an early judge in Sequatchie County. And that house has been rebuilt. It's been raised from its earlier foundation to get it out of a floodplain. There is loving attention to the outward structure, to the integrity of all the beams. Parts have been replaced. And interior is really very delightful, very welcoming. Put there, the things arranged there by Carol Gaddys, who is a 79-year-old former real estate maven in the area, a woman of great character and great courage, and a woman who stands up to men. And maybe in Sequatchie County, that's something you shouldn't do. and that may be what has gotten her into trouble. But she is leading a crusade, if you will, to defend her property rights. As against whom? As against the mayor, Dwain Land, who's facing re-election on Saturday for a third term. A landlord of whom many good things are said, for whom many fine things are said about him by people who live in rental properties. Here's an interview.
What is your name and what is
Bobby
your address
Rayber.
here?
Bobby Rayber, 35 Bruce Green Road, trailer 10.
How long have you been here, and what do you say about being a renter from Dwain Land?
I've been here for 4 years, and I really enjoy renting. Like I said, anything I need fixed, they come and fix it right off the bat. You know, I don't have no problems. He's real reasonable with me on the rent. And
what do you pay?
I won't discuss that. But
now, do you live here with your family?
Yeah, I live here with my wife and grandkids.
And so 4 years as a renter from Mayor Land.
So what?
You've been here. You've rented from him for 4 years.
I've rented for 4 years from him. You know, I knowed him longer than that, but I've rented for 4 years, and he's really treated me decent. You know, I don't care what other people has to say, but he's treated us decent.
Well, everybody I've talked to has said the same thing.
Well, that's real good. I mean, that's good because it's truth. It's truth. He's a real good person, and you know, he believes in God, so he believes in helping others too. So I respect the man. I really do.
Quote from Billy Rayber: Dwain worked with us big time as far as helping my wife and I. He's really helped us big time, end quote.
This is David Tulis, and you're listening to the David Tulis Show here on Nooga Radio, 1240 AM and Nooga Radio 92.7 FM. We're talking about a tiny town in southeast Tennessee in the beautiful Sequatchie Valley, a valley that is just breathtaking as you come across the rim of the mountain range between Chattanooga and Dunlap. And the people are hardworking. The people are, many of them, very simple. They're farming people. And this is David Tulis. I'm glad you're giving us a minute every time. The question is, in the election on Saturday, what do we suggest about the vote and the keeping of Mayor Land? Now, you hear from Bobby Rayber that Mayor Land is a Christian man. He's always done well. He comes in to make repairs when they're needed. These are good things, and I would say that they recommend Mayor Land more broadly, perhaps than just his office as landlord, to maybe a couple hundred, maybe several hundred people who are renters from him. He is a taxpayer in the county. He paid in 2016 about $24,000 in county taxes, and I don't have the figure at the moment of taxes he paid for in the city of Dunlap. But he's a taxpayer, and he is a man of whom good things are said. Here's a woman whom I interviewed, Carolyn Lehman, who lives with her male friend in a trailer in Dunlap, also a tenant.
This is Carolyn Lehman, who's a tenant of Mayor Land. Carolyn, tell me what kind of man is Mr. Land as landlord?
He's a very good man. They're very good landlords.
How long have you been a tenant here?
About 4 years.
And you knew the Land family from way back when you were a girl?
Oh, yes. While we were growing up, yes. I knew him. Robert, you're going over the railing? Yes, I knew him very well. Went to school with them. They owned a few of the trailers. Their dad and mom owned it. And when they got off from school of evening, they were to come in and bush hog the land and mow the yards and help work. And on Saturday morning, they come into the restaurant, be there at 5 a.m. and be served by all of us. And by 6, they'd be ready to go and come to start to work.
What was the name of the restaurant?
Dunlap Restaurant and Motel.
Now, so you what do you pay? Is the upkeep good here at Land's Motor Court? And what can you say about No, just being here. What's it like to live here?
Yeah, they do. If you have a problem, they will upkeep your land, your property, and the trailers and things that you have. If you tell them what's going on, they will come and try to fix it as soon as they can get to it. He does a good job about that. Him and his brother, their wives, their mom.
What do you know of the campaign? The voting is Saturday.
I don't know that much about it, the campaign on who I was going to do. I do know the girls that are running too. A couple of them. I went to school
Life in
with
a
one
small
girl,
town.
Rhonda. She's a very good girl. I know her family too well. They're a very good family. The Greer girl, haven't seen her since she was a young kid, but I'm sure that any of the three would be a good mayor.
Now, was that your husband with whom I spoke?
That is my friend.
Yes, ma'am. He's already voted, and he voted for Mayor Land. Have you voted yet? And any suggestions?
I voted. Yes, I did. My suggestions are that you are to stand up and make sure that you vote for the one that you believe in.
Well, that's a woman who's a tenant of the mayor of Dunlap, Tennessee, in the Sequatchie Valley. He is seeking re-election, and he has, by the accounts that I have been able to obtain about him from people who have business dealings with him, all of whom spoke on the record, none of whom asked to go off the record to say something and complain about Dwain Land. He's well regarded.
So, are you happy to be here,
prompt,
Mr. Farley?
Yeah,
And how long have you been here?
about 2 years.
What's your background?
Well, you
Here's
mean
another
where was that?
What kind of work have you done?
Well, I've done nursery work mostly, digging trees, planting trees, and loading trees and stuff like that.
Are you a Social Security recipient and living on retirement?
Yeah. So
71 years old.
What do you pay for rent every month here?
400.
People have good things to say about Dwain Land.
Are you happy to
landlord,
be here?
mayor,
Are you being
Dunlap.
well treated by the landlord?
Oh yeah, they do real good. Anything goes wrong, they go ahead and get it done, so, can't be that.
This is David Tulis. We're listening to the David Tulis Show here at Nooga Radio, and we're hearing people say high things about the mayor of Dunlap, Tennessee, Mayor Dwain Land, and he provides. We need to understand that he's not. You can't. It's not. I don't like the term slumlord, though some people who are maybe liberals would say that that's what he is. No, he provides inexpensive places to live for people who don't have great means, like the man you just heard, George Melvin Farley, a very grizzled 71 years old, windows, doors all open in his house. Not in the best upkeep, but don't forget he's paying only $400, and for $400, you might not get a lot, and that's these people are glad to be there. They all have, I would say, dignity. They all have honor, and the ones I spoke to were very gracious to talk to me. They said, I asked about the mayor. I said, well, I'm writing a story about the campaign in Dunlap, Tennessee. What can you tell me about your landlord, who is one of the candidates?
Here's Renee Looper, and she's a tenant in the Chickasaw Lane land court, trailer court. And Dwain is your landlord.
Yeah, he's my landlord.
Could you just come about 4 feet closer?
She's in a wheelchair, so she had to roll toward me.
Renee Looper, can you say something about being a tenant here? How long have you been here? Why did you come here? What's it like living in Dunlap in this trailer home with Dwain Land as landlord?
Dwain's a pretty good person. He's a good person to rent from. If we have any problems, they take care of it right away. I've never had an occasion to get upset with Dwain Land at all. I really like Dwain.
How long have you been here?
I've been here since August of last year.
And what brought you to Dunlap?
I've lived in Dunlap for 30 years, and I moved from Fredonia Mountain down to here.
Here's Renee Looper.
Anything that breaks down, they fix it. They're right out. Over the winter, our heater went down. I called. They had somebody right out here to fix it. I've never had a problem.
This is David Tulis. You're joining me here at Nooga Radio. Thank you for tuning in to our program at 1240 a.m. and 92.7 FM. We cover local economy and the free markets, and we're brought to you by Window Depot of Chattanooga.com, Window Depot of Chattanooga.com, and also by Boyd's Speedway, where great things are going on every Saturday in the evening. Just a great time for your family. Do something different, right? Do something that you haven't done before. Take part in a bit of Americana galore at Boyd's Speedway. It's lowbrow, but it's a lot of fun, and it gives you a sense of what common and ordinary people like to enjoy. People such as those at the Chickasaw Lane Trailer Park in Dunlap. These are the commonest people. They're mailboxes, they're row of mailboxes on Land Drive, which runs alongside of this trailer park next to the Walmart shopping center in Dunlap. The mailboxes are almost all rusted down. They haven't had a touch of paint in, looks like, 40 years. Land property, Land being the name of the mayor who is seeking election. Now, here's the issue in a nub. Well, good things are said about Dwain Land editorially in the Dunlap News, and by four of his tenants. He has probably 150 tenants. I haven't gotten a final number, and the mayor will not let me have an interview with him, so I can't ask him that question. But it's some hundreds of people who are residing in his rented trailers. Again, budget trailers, low cost trailers, serving an important market. And that would be the poorer part of town, the poorer part of Americans here in Tennessee. Those are trailer park landlords, and they should be commended for providing that important service. In cities like Chattanooga, you couldn't have a place such as Mayor Land's where the houses are cheap. They're not new. They're not real nice, but they provide a service. And the great benefit is they're inexpensive. And as we heard, his tenants are satisfied to be there and say very good things about Dwain Land running for mayor. But the problem is the mayor is trying to throw out from their house a couple, Thomas and Carol Gaddys. The process he's using is unconstitutional and illegal, but it has been supported by two Chancery Court judges, one who finally dismissed himself from the case, perhaps because it smelled so bad, and the other, Chancery Court, Sequatchie County Chancery Court Judge Thomas Graham, who continues to sit on the case and who's issued an order. And the order is, unless you grant permission for a search of your property voluntarily, if you don't grant it voluntarily, I'm going to put you in jail. And that threat has caused this older couple, Thomas Gaddys, 71, and his wife, Carol, 69, to flee. They are fugitives from a judge who says you have to grant permission to search your property. But wait a minute. Hold on just a second. We're Americans. You don't have permission to search property unless you have a warrant. What's a warrant? Well, a warrant is when someone under penalty of perjury before a judge, before God, goes and says by affidavit, I have knowledge of a criminal act, and that criminal act has evidence in that house, and you need to search that house to find the evidence or proofs or activity that's proofs of a criminal act. You have to search that house. There has to be a criminal element. There has to be a criminal accusation, a criminal case for there to be any authority to search, period. There is no authority to search that arises from the city ordinance. There is no authority to search that arises from a civil case. It does not exist. It cannot exist. It's unconstitutional. And what has happened in this case is that the authorities, the mayor Land, and the two judges, the judge who now has a case in Chancery Court, and City Attorney Stephen Greer, who should know better. He should know better. Stephen Greer, shame on him. He's forgotten everything he learned in law school. There is no unitary state. There is no executive state. We live in a constitutional state, a divided state. There cannot be executive demands of search or inspection apart from a warrant. A warrant must show a criminal act in progress, evidence of a criminal act, fruits of a criminal act, evidence of the hiding of a criminal act, and that is what is required. There has to be a showing of that, and that does not exist in this case. This case is a mess. This case is bad enough for Mayor Dwain Land to be thrown out of office. He should be thrown out of office. And Jennie Greer should be put in his place. Jennifer Greer, a candidate for mayor, has a much better sense. She's much more respectful of the Constitution, and she is very empathetic, very sympathetic to the Gaddys. And in fact, she prays for their recovery from this disastrous encounter with Mayor Dwain Land and the city of Dunlap. The city of Dunlap prosecuting, hounding in an ungodly way, in an unconstitutional way, throwing these people out of their house, terrorizing them for nearly 2 years, ordering them to stop all work on their house before they allow a, quote, inspection. They want a search. That's what they want. They want a search, and they don't have probable cause. They should be stopped. And if the judges won't stop them, then the voters of Dunlap need to throw out the mayor and elect Mrs. Greer.
Nooga Radio, AM 1240, 92.7 FM.
Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM News now. A lover's dispute almost leads to murder. Lanita Jean Binford, who's 34, from Orchard Knob, has been charged with attempted first-degree murder after a man says that she lunged at him with a knife but missed and then drove away in a car. The reason this all happened is because Miss Binford says that the man broke up with her and lied about being divorced. A police officer was right around the corner and arrested her after she sped off. The former vice mayor of Saudi Daisy is now suing the city after she fell and hurt her ankle badly. She's now suing the city for $175,000. C. Mark Warren is representing her. He says that she sustained significant injuries to her right leg at the Pioneer Day celebration when she tripped over a cinder block that was securing a tent. 15-year-old subject of an Amber Alert, Trinity Quinn, is now being tried along with Daniel Aaron Clark with criminal homicide and attempted auto theft and especially aggravated robbery after police believe that she was involved in the killing of a store clerk in Nashville. Heavy rains expected today. Drive with caution. If it's going on in the Tennessee Valley, it's going on. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Expect cloudy and wet weather for your Thursday with scattered showers and a few thunder showers marching in. Becoming windy, too. High temperatures into the upper 60s. Tonight, a break in the rain. Lows cooler near 50. Breezy, chilly Friday with scattered showers. High struggling to hit 55. Continued cool Saturday. Do you have a pesky tree that needs to be removed around your home or business? Call Paul Bunyan Tree Service at 423-421-2104. That's 421-2104. And I'm S'mores Gene Twells, Chief Meteorologist Patrick Hoare. On Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
It is Eric Jones hard into the outside wall, and they are still 3 and 4 wide. It looks like we're racing at Talladega.
Caution flag is out. It looked like Denny Hamlin was trying to get by Ricky Stenhouse. Got into the back of Ricky at the line. Man, that's a close one. Matt Kenseth wins stage 1.
Green checkered flag is out, and Brad Keselowski has won stage 2.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. into the wall. That will bring out the caution. Caution waving once again. And again, it's Dale Earnhardt Jr. involved.
Oh, trouble. Ty Dillon has gotten turned to the inside of the racetrack, and Clint Boyer has just nailed him.
Matt Kenseth falling back. The field storming by. Something wrong. Now we see sparks from Kenseth's Toyota.
Larson chops him off. Coming off turn number 2. Goes to tail. Now it's Logano to the high side in 3.
Joey Logano, a winner here at the Richmond International Raceway.
Here at Live on Chattanooga's official NASCAR radio station.
Nooga Radio, AM 1240, 92.7 FM.
The voice of NASCAR.
Need a tiller to get things going for the spring? Spiff up your porch, maybe your deck? Come on by and get a pressure washer at Action Rental. Family in town, need some tables and chairs for an event? Come on by and see us. Action Rental. This is Dan at Action Rental on Lee Highway. Come by and see me. Action Rentals.
I've been a customer at S&S 14 years. It's way out of my way, but I'm well treated. I believe what I'm told. Price is reasonable. David Tulis here. Make an S&S appointment today. This week, get $50 off any 30,000-mile service or timing belt repair. And get a free combat knife as a gift. S&S Auto Repair specializes in Toyota, Lexus, Honda, Acura, Scion, Nissan, and Infiniti. 6-time winner of Best of the Best Award in the Times Free Press. 855-3436. ssautorepair.net. 855-3436.
Final expenses, funeral costs, cemetery lots, unpaid medical bills, probate cost, debts. Debts are due and payable upon death of debtor. Will these costs produce a burden and hardship on your loved ones? Who will be responsible? How will they handle them? These costs can total many thousands of dollars, only compounded greater with the grief of losing a family member. A safe and secure way to provide for these costs is with an affordable life insurance from Covenant Group Insurance and Financial Services. Covenant Group is a local company with local agents. Covenant Group still makes house calls. Covenant Group only represents A-rated companies. With many options to offer, Covenant Group can accommodate almost any budget. Great discounts for good health and plans available for impaired risk. Call today for a free, no-obligation consultation in the convenience of your home. Call Steve or Jada at 423-855-8484. Call today, 423-855-8484.
I've got a $10 bill for you at the best paint store in Chattanooga. David here. Big savings in exterior stains. Chattanooga Paint and Decorating. More than a paint store. Bring up $100 on your next upgrade. Plunk down just $90. Save on all outdoor stains in stock at Chattanooga Paint and Decorating. Prolix Sickens. Benjamin Moore, Flood, Sanson, Richards. 10% off through May 13th. Jim and his team are here to help and advise and to help you hold on to your money. 5529 Hickson Pike. Chattanooga Paint and Decorating. ChattanoogaPaint.com.
I have the best steak selection in town. Name of the business is Don's Meat Shop, and I'm Donnie Raines. Just ask for Donnie. I make over 20 different types of sausages. Most of them are great for grilling. We have the best selection, best quality. We have the hard-to-find items. Don's Meat Shop.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
We cover local economy and the free market here. David Tulis, your local economy guru, the leading Nooga centrist in Hamilton County. That means to say that he believes that the center of the universe is Chattanooga, and that we should understand that and not look to far places for a solution to disasters brought against us, against our capital, and against our families from faraway places such as Washington, Chicago, Baltimore, New York, and even Nashville. We think that there should be self-government, and if everybody was self-governing, we would not need the state at all. In fact, that is the promise of Christianity, and as the claim of Marxism. Marxism has in view the same goal that Christianity does, and that is that there is no state. And in its promise is, well, we can eliminate the state if we just remake every man and woman to the new model man who is part of the collective, right? They have a collective vision. And so there's Marxism is a Christian heresy. The end, though, is something that Christianity will come close to attaining, but it won't quite attain it before Christ's return because of the old sin problem, which will be ever present with mankind, that fallen race. And in the end, the gospel promises, right? The gospel promises in Isaiah 9, for example, that of the increase of his government there shall be no end. That at the end of time, before Christ returns, there will be largely a Christian ethic worldwide. It'll be something that you'll see in every venue, in every jurisdiction, in every institution, in every family. There'll be a generalized Christianity. There will be, of course, the sin problem, but the gospel will have so done its work over the centuries that the humankind will need very little of what we call the state, right? There'll be no policing, really. There'll be few courts, hardly any wars at all. And that will be the work of the gospel and the Holy Spirit upon the fallen race of mankind. That's the way it works. It's a long-term process, and victory is assured. And Marx wanted to get it more quickly than the gospel. And he wanted to do it by force and not by grace, right? Not by preaching and counseling and personal relationships, but by compulsion and the unitary state, where the committee, as it were, is the common will, and through the committee we all live and breathe and have our being. That is the lie of Marxism. And also, as we note here on the David Tulis Show, the lie of socialism, the Democrat variety and the Republican variety alike. They can't bring us the salvation that we some of us yearn for. I think everybody yearns for salvation in some kind, but because of the sin problem, they strive for it in ungodly and unlawful ways. Like sex, right? You can or a drug addiction or vain glory and wealth. These are all places in which the broken spirit, the uncontrite spirit, right, labors for that fulfillment of that yearning, that is what Christianity calls the consummation. That would be where Christ and the church in their union finally resolve the tension that the sin problem creates between God and man. Well, this is David Tulis, and I bring those things up partly because I have in view the Dunlap election on Saturday. And the Dunlap election on Saturday is, I say, very important to understand and to take part in as well. And I suggest you take a look at TennesseeStar.com today, the new free market-oriented conservative portal out of Nashville, TennesseeStar.com, that has published everything I have sent to that organization thus far. And I've sent 2 stories today that I hope will be published. And please go there and look, bookmark TennesseeStar.com. That's TennesseeStar.com. And look for the 2 texts on Dunlap. Well, if they're not going to be there, they will be at the backup site, which is my very low-key, low-budget Nooganomics.com. Our chief sponsor, by the way, chief sponsor here at the David Tulis program, AM 1240 and FM 92.7. There are important things to think about regarding the Dunlap election. Mayor Dwain Land is trying to keep his spot. He's got 2 challengers. The most, I'd say the most significant of the 2, or the more significant of the 2, is Jennifer Lockhart Greer. She is a school teacher. She has a background in political science, 1992 graduate of Sequatchie High School, went to get a BA in poli-sci at the College of Charleston, and has an interest in constitutional government, understanding the benefits of it, right? If you have a constitutional government, what that does is it restrains not just your power, but your ambitions. And it also restrains the duties that you think you're supposed to have, right, in office, right? Mayor, well, I need to make sure that house run by the Gaddys is safe. That house could fall over and hurt somebody beyond the property line of that property, and we need to make sure that's not happening. Well, that kind of ambitious ploy of the kind acted out by the mayor, Dwain Land, that doesn't happen if you have a constitutional government, because what you look at there is the limits on your power, which is a relief. I mean, the fact that your power is limited by the Constitution should be a relief to you, whether you're a commissioner of safety in Governor Haslam's administration, or the mayor of Chattanooga, or the mayor of Dunlap, a small town in the beautiful, lovely Sequatchie Valley, over across the hills from Chattanooga and Soddy Daisy and Dayton, over on the other side there, the great Sequatchie Valley. And you don't have, if you understand the Constitution, you say, well, look, I can't do that. I don't have the power to do that. And yet that kind of restraint is absent in the current mayor, the incumbent in Dunlap, Mayor Dwain Land, a landlord and a Christian man. He's a big gun fan in his office in City Hall, a former bank building there on Rankin Avenue, the main drag through town. He has a glass gun case, and in there are wonderful, delightful weapons with long magazines sticking out from the undersides, the assault style variety weapon. And he's a man who clearly cares about constitutional government enough to want to have the right to bear arms as something that he will do in front of the voters, right? That is to say, in front of people who come before him there in his office in City Hall. He's a man who cares about the Constitution, loves constitutional rights, and yet his ambition has not been restrained by the constitutional prohibitions against unreasonable search and seizures, which he has been pursuing against this elderly couple, Thomas and Carol Gaddy, for almost 2 years. And he's been doing it in a absolutely bungling way to the cost of taxpayers of past $20,000. And he's done it in seeming malice. It seems that there's lack of good faith in this whole program run by the executive branch of that town. Now, there's a legislative branch of that town too, right? Every town in the country, at least in the state, has something of our divided powers. I think Red Bank may be an exception. The mayor of Red Bank told me his form of government is not clearly delineated between the 3 branches: judicial, legislative, and executive. Now, the mayor is the executive. The city council or city commission is the legislative branch, right? It works on the ordinances and writes ordinances under the authority of the charter. And then you've got the judiciary branch, which usually is city court. City court, which is it's called a corporation court, an inferior court. And what it does is that it settles disputes and solves fights and problems that arise under the charter. So you have an internal form of government that that does not, in its disputes and differences, have to trouble the real courts, which would be circuit, criminal, or chancery court, right? And of course there's probate and juvenile, which are sort of later add-ons. But the real courts don't have to worry about internal disputes. Now, what's happened in Dunlap is the mayor, for unknown reasons, right? Reasons unknown, has been harassing this couple, and he's obtained. The city commission has paid the bill on his misadventure in court, demanding an inspection of the property of an elderly couple, and so he's up for re-election. He's as we heard, he's well liked by the people who are his subject. Now there are two categories there. One would be people who live in the borders of the town, but since he's a businessman and a landlord, he has subjects of a different kind. Those are renters. If you're a renter, you are subject to your lord, right? You're lord of the land. And in Dunlap, these trailer park residents and trailer home residents have their lord, and that's Dwain Land, the individual, right? The man, not the officer, not the city officer, but the man and businessman, investor and provider of important services in the housing market in Dunlap, and that's a mere landlord. And as we hear, there are good things to say. Let me just give you one quick sample.
So, are you happy to be here, Mr. Farley?
Yeah.
And how long have you been here?
This is George Melvin Farley.
About 2 years.
What's your background?
Well, you mean where I was at?
What kind of work have you done?
Well, I've done nursery work, mostly.
Nursery work.
Digging trees, planting trees, and, loading trees and stuff like that.
Are you a Social Security recipient and living on retirement?
Yeah. Social Security.
What do you pay for rent every month here?
$400.
Are you happy to be here? Are you being well treated by the landlord?
Oh yeah. They do real good. Anything goes wrong, they go ahead and get it done. So can't be that.
This is David Tulis. And we're hearing from a renter of Mayor Dwain Land, landlord Dwain Land. And so he has two subjects. One are the renters, and the other would be the voters. And the voters, there are two voters who are the object of effectively the ire and anger of the mayor. That I would suggest is so gross and so violent and so excessive and so unrelenting that this action against Thomas and Carol Getty is sufficient to warrant his removal from office. And that's not done by a coup. That's done in a very orderly process called elections. There was an election Saturday in Dunlap. There's been some early voting that ended a few days ago, and everybody else who did not take part in that will be voting Saturday. And the stakes are high, I'd say, on account of this case, which I like to suggest is being run against this Christian patriotic couple. She is 69, he, Thomas, 71, who are in hiding. They're in hiding because of a judge, Chancery Court Judge Thomas Graham, who has put against them a ban, and that is to say a ban because they contemptuously have not agreed with him. They contemptuously, right, in civil contempt, have refused to grant voluntarily permission for a search of their property, their house on Main Street there in a little crook in the valley, in the crook in a creek called Cup's Creek. They refuse to allow a search. So how can you be coerced into voluntarily allowing a search? How can that be? That in itself is a bald-faced contradiction. And this couple refuses to relent, and there is an abusive process, and I'd like to suggest that it violates not just the rules of good faith, the opposite of good faith, of course, being bad faith, which is a legal poison. If you're involved in an action in bad faith, you are in legal poison. But it's also a violation of the Tennessee oppression statute. That's 39-16-403. And that says that a public servant acting under color of office or employment commits that offense when he intentionally, now notice the word intentionally, subjects another to mistreatment or to arrest, detention, or stop, frisk, or halt, seizure, search, dispossession, it goes on, assessment, or lien when the public servant knows the conduct is unlawful. Well, the law in our state is the Constitution, Article 1 and Section 7 is the ban on general searches. There is no such thing as a search in Tennessee. Searches are forbidden. They are outlawed. Now, a search can be empowered by a judge if there is a warrant, and the warrant has to be a sworn affidavit of a criminal act. That's the only ground for a search. No ground exists for a search of a private home without that. And so what's happening here is a oppressive act based on this definition of official oppression. And it's funny, this in the statute, this is under in chapter 16, the heading of that is offenses against administration of government. So if you're an oppressor, if you are a despot, what you're doing is you are making an offense, a criminal offense against what? Not against the people, given the location of this this rule in the Tennessee Code. You're making an offense against the administration of government. Think about that. These people are misgoverning. They are abusing the power of government. They are making an offense. It is an offense against the Gaddys, but it is an offense against the government itself. These people, Mayor Land, and Stephen Greer, his attorney, who's earned $20,000 at least in revenues from this case, and even Judge Thomas Graham, they are in cooperating with the mayor's desire for something to do with this land. We're not sure what it is. They are committing, this statute suggests, a criminal offense against the administration of government. Again, not against the Gaddys, but against the state itself and against the process, the administration of government. Notice, though, the requirement of intentionality. That this offense also is one who intentionally denies or impedes another in the exercise or enjoyment of any right, privilege, power, or immunity when the public servant knows the conduct is unlawful. Well, the question really is knowingness and intentionality. And because the Gaddys have repeatedly asserted their rights constitutionally in writing, in court action, that is notice of the illegality. And that suggests to me that this case invites a prosecution, a criminal prosecution by the district attorney. Attorney General Slattery's III's local man, right, the local headhunter for the state, to open an investigation of abusive process or abuse of process. And it's a Class E felony to do that. It is a Class E felony. Now, this hasn't been adjudicated. No charges have been filed. And since we are talking about a criminal act, we would have to suppose that there is some measure of innocency on the part of the proposed defendants. But this is a violation of constitutional government. And it seems to be a violation of this statute, which has teeth in it. And if these people have been notified in any way, especially in writing in a court, that this act is unconstitutional and that these people are belligerent claimants in person and will not yield their rights, what we have here is a case of oppression under Title 39, Part 16403. And it's a Class E felony to harass and impede the exercise of right. These people can't enjoy their house. They can't cook their own meals. They can't. They have frozens. They have things in the icebox that have gone bad because they are fugitives. They have food that's rotting. They have bananas on the counter that have rotted because they're not there to eat them or to dispose of them. And no, they have a son, Kelly, who's in and out. So I'm sure that hasn't happened. But theoretically, if they hadn't had a son, Kelly, who's a kind of a contractor and builder and very good handy man with his hands, if they didn't have their son kind of looking out for the estate in their absence, you would have much brighter and sharper loss of the enjoyment of a piece of property, the exercise of a right protected by not just the Constitution, but by the official oppression statute in Tennessee law. So what we have here is a claim about the use of power. And you, my listener, need to understand this is important to you. And it's important to you because you are protected by the restraint on power. Power is the gun, right? The gun, the barrel of the 10 millimeter, the 40 cal, the 45 cal, the gun of the officer, representing the holy virtue of our modern state. aimed at you. Can anybody aim a gun at you who wants? Can anybody make a claim upon you who wants? Are people free? People in government, are they free to do as they will? No. The answer is no. They're not free. They're not free. They are bound. And if they act outside the law, here's the nub. And I think you should take comfort in this point. If they act outside the law, they are acting in their personal capacity as individuals, naked, denuded of authority, absent the uniform, as it were, absent the blue uniform, right? They don't have the blue uniform on anymore if they act outside the law. Any action by a state actor outside the law is in his personal capacity. And there is the vulnerability of Dwain Land. Dwain Land is personally vulnerable to the Gaddys, personally and individually vulnerable in his man, in his person, in his human being of the male sex. He is personally vulnerable and liable to this couple for his almost 2 years of action against them. Now, the voters in Dunlap can spare him the trouble, and the Gaddys are no doubt very gracious and sure to forgive. They can save him more grief if they get him out of office. Let Mayor Land go back to being a landlord, to fixing some of these rundown trailers that are his property, satisfying his renters throughout Dunlap. He has many, many renters who count on him, count on his staff to maintain order, keep the grass mowed, keep the potholes in those trailer parks filled. Let him go back to doing those things and get him out of office. If you get him out of office, you're saving him some grief. If the voters of Dunlap elect Mrs. Greer, they're doing Dwain Land a favor for which he will thank them. He will thank them. And that is, they've gotten him out of office, away from the danger into which he has walked. He has walked into personal danger, especially if he's acting personally apart from his lawful cloak of authority. And I would like to suggest that he's done that, and he's very vulnerable. Save Dwain Land. Save him. Vote for Mrs. Greer. Save his hide. Vote for Mrs. Greer, I would suggest. David Tulis here.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
iBuyChattanoogaHouses.com, Chattanooga's premier house buyer. Do you have a house you need to sell fast? We are buying. Call us today. We are local folks. We will buy your house as is, no repairs needed. We will give you a cash offer and close on the day of your choice. Call us right now, 423-834-7321. Need to sell a house fast? We are buying. Are you experiencing one of these situations? Inherited a house you have no need for? Behind on your property taxes? Nightmare tenants making your life miserable? Too many repairs needed and don't have a desire to fix? Behind on payments and facing foreclosure? Recently divorced and need a way out of the house? Never really wanted to be a landlord and just want to cash out? Trying to relocate and need to sell your house? Do you need to sell a house fast? We are buying. No fees, no hassles, no repair costs. Close on the day of your choice. Our process is simple. Call us today. We inspect your property right away. We make you a fair cash offer. We close on the day of your choice. Call us today, 423-834-7321. Visit our website, iBuyChattanoogaHouses.com. Call us today, 423-834-7321. iBuyChattanoogaHouses.com.
Need windows? Hey folks, do you need new windows? Good news. Window Depot of Chattanooga has a great special going on right now. 10 high-quality, energy-efficient double-hung vinyl windows installed for only $29.90. That's right, 10 double-hung vinyl windows, only $2,990. And yes, they qualify for the TVA rebates. Call 894-0011. Window Depot of Chattanooga today, located at 5950 Shalford Road. Call 894-0011 today.
Here comes the bride, she's walking down the street.
And she's wearing a stunning diamond ring that's a fraction of the cost that her man would have paid at one of those overpriced mall jewelry stores. Rick Davis has a plethora on quality diamonds and gold rings, and he wants to pass the savings on to you. Did I say plethora? How about overabundance? That's right, an overabundance of gold and diamonds. So before you decide to get crazy and pay pay full retail on an overpriced piece of jewelry from one of those cookie cutter mall jewelry stores, come on out and see Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds. Top quality gold and diamonds at a fraction of the cost. Enter marital bliss with an engagement and wedding ring from Rick Davis. Hey, he'll also buy your gold and diamonds with cash, and more cash. Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds, Brainerd Road, Chattanooga. And there goes another happy bride.
Simple cremation for $895. Why spend more? ChattanoogaCremationCenter.com. ChattanoogaCremationCenter.com. Value you want, service you trust. $895. ChattanoogaCremationCenter.com.
Are you shovel ready to build a house, but you're not a builder? Are you shovel ready? Michael's Homes is ready to bulldoze its way to a solution for you. You have ideas on what you want in a house, but you're looking for someone to bring your ideas into a plan and turn your plan into a house. Michael's Homes, custom builder. Michael's Homes has lots available at a new subdivision, River Bay Estates, that's Harrison. Maybe River Watch in Saudi Daisy. Choices galore, lots, houses, beautiful homes all over Chattanooga. The Canyons, Hickson, Crystal Brook, Appleton. Drive in, take a look, consult with us. We build on your lot or ours. Homes-Chattanooga.com.
Call 423-413-9929.
Nooga Radio, AM 1240, 92.7 FM.
Charge! Get back there, you dang Yankee! Great horny toads, I'm up north. Gotta burn my boots, they touched Yankee soil. Lay down your arms and step forward, Yankee!
What's the hassle, Schmassel?
My orders from General Lee is to hold the Macy-Dixie line, and no Yankees are crossing it.
If the South would have won, we'd have had it made. I'd probably run for president of the Southern states. The day Elvis passed away would be our national holiday. If the South would have won, we'd have had it made.
NASCAR, David Tulis, Coast to Coast AM, and CBS Radio News. Chattanooga's news, talk, and sports leader.
WDLZ HD4 Ottawa, W224AZ Chattanooga,
WSDT Sunday Daisy Chattanooga.
CBS News, I'm Frank Sedapani. The formal process of repealing and replacing Obamacare is about to begin in the House of Representatives. CBS News correspondent Stephen Portnoy.
After dramatically pulling the measure 6 weeks ago, GOP leaders say they're very confident they've now got the votes. The bill scraps Obamacare's taxes, mandates, and subsidies, replacing them with tax credits that experts warn could result in sharply higher premiums for older, sicker people. On the whole, the GOP says premiums would come down. The bill's expected passage today is the result of delicate deal-making. It could be in for a major reworking in the Senate. Moderate Republicans might force changes that conservatives in the House can't accept.
On this National Day of Prayer, President Trump will sign an executive order relaxing regulations on religious groups. Bill Donohue's the president of the Catholic League.
Religious rights have been eroded and threatened over the last 8 years, and I'm hoping that Trump will make certain that he's not going to go down the road of the Obama administration.
The president's executive order will ease an IRS rule that bans tax exemptions for churches that endorse political candidates, and it will spare religious groups from having to pay for contraceptive coverage in health care plans. Rain-swollen rivers in parts of the Midwest and South are going down, but some towns are still underwater. CBS's Michelle Miller gave us a snapshot from Pocahontas, Arkansas.
Side streets, neighborhood streets, and some of the lower-lying areas, they're just rivers and are completely impassable. There's at least a foot of water in many of these residential sections, if not more.
Former President Obama can't vote in Sunday's presidential election in France, but if he could, he'd cast his ballot for the centrist candidates.
I have admired the campaign that Emmanuel Macron has run. He has stood up for liberal values. He put forward a vision for the important role that France plays in Europe and around the world.
Plans for a memorial to the gay nightclub massacre victims in Orlando are taking shape. CBS's Peter King has the latest.
Club owner Barbara Poma has started a foundation to support victims' families and survivors and to build a memorial for the 49 people who died.
And the ultimate design and function will be decided by this community, not by me, not by government,
but by this community as a whole.
Poma briefly sold the land to the city for that purpose, but said it didn't feel right and canceled the deal.
Prince Philip is the tower of strength in Queen Elizabeth's life.
He has quite simply been my strength and stay all these years.
But those years add up, and Philip is 95 now, still in relatively good shape, but he's decided to retire from public life this fall. On the social page on this side of the Atlantic, reports say MSNBC morning co-hosts Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski are engaged to be married.
Have him read the words of our founding fathers. Have him read the words of Andrew Jackson when it comes
Joe, they don't want him to. They like him.
Yet he's being
he has the entire
no, he can't be
inner cadre.
Sounds like they're already a married couple. In early trading, the Dow Industrials are down 30 points. This is CBS News.
Day is next week, and Pro Flowers is offering an amazing special: 100 stunning blooms for mom, plus a free glass vase for $19.99 plus shipping and handling. Go to proflowers.com, click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner, and enter the secret code 700. But hurry, this incredible deal expires this Friday. With fresh flowers, guaranteed delivery, and unique vases and accessories that mom will love, Pro Flowers has everything you need to get your Mother's Day shopping done for all the moms you know. Order now from Pro Flowers to get huge savings. You pick the delivery date, and it's guaranteed or your money back. 100 colorful blooms sent fresh from the fields and guaranteed to stay fresh and beautiful for at least 7 days, starting at $19.99. And we'll include a free glass vase. Hurry, Mother's Day is next week, and this incredible special expires this Friday. The only way to get this amazing deal is to go to proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 700. That's proflowers.com, secret code 700.
A report out today takes a look at children and guns.
It is a continuing problem.
Every year, over 5,800 children are hospitalized with firearm-related injuries.
Dr. Alyssa Silver is the lead author of the study. Most of the injuries involving younger children are accidental. For those in the upper teens, many are the result of assaults.
We need to do more in terms of securing access to firearms for children.
And Dr. Silver does not believe political views should make a difference.
We can all take a step back from politics and agree that children shouldn't die or be injured due to firearm injuries.
Steve Futterman, CBS News.
The weekly report from the Labor Department is fresh evidence of strength in the job market. It says 238,000 workers filed new unemployment claims last week. New claims have been below the 300,000 danger level for well over 2 years. That's the longest stretch since 1970. Frank Sedapani, CBS News.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM News now. A lover's dispute almost leads to murder. Lanita Jean Binford, who's 34, from Orchard Knob, has been charged with attempted first-degree murder after a man says that she lunged at him with a knife but missed and then drove away in a car. The reason this all happened is because Miss Binford says that the man broke up with her and lied about being divorced. A police officer was right around the corner and arrested her after she sped off. The former vice mayor of Saudi Daisy is now suing the city after she fell and hurt her ankle badly. She's now suing the city for $175,000. C. Mark Warren is representing her. He says that she sustained significant injuries to her right leg at the Pioneer Day celebration when she tripped over a cinder block that was securing a tent. 15-year-old subject of an Amber Alert, Trinity Quinn, is now being tried along with Daniel Aaron Clark with criminal homicide and attempted auto theft and especially aggravated robbery after police believe that she was involved in the killing of a store clerk in Nashville. Heavy rains expected today. Drive with caution. If it's going on in the Tennessee Valley, it's going on. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Expect cloudy and wet weather for your Thursday with scattered showers and a few thunder showers marching in. Becoming windy, too. High temperatures into the upper 60s. Tonight, a break in the rain. Lows cooler near 50. Breezy, chilly Friday with scattered showers. Highs struggling to hit 55. Continued cool Saturday. Do you have a pesky tree that needs to be removed around your home or business? Call Paul Bunyan Tree Service at 423-421-2104. That's 421-2104. And I'm Gene Twells, Chief Meteorologist Patrick Hoare.
On Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Live from Chattanooga, Tennessee, it's David Tulis.
Are there grievous things about which Christians should be praying regarding the national state of affairs out of Washington, New York, Baltimore, Chicago? Are there things that people who profess Christianity should be praying about Tennessee? What about Hamilton County? What about Chattanooga? Are there individual problems? Are there individual grievances? Individual sets of systems or structures, perhaps, that deserve prayer because they are part of a judgment? Well, we are going to ask about these questions from Roger Helly. He is involved here in Chattanooga with the National Day of Prayer and the local exercise of petitioning God for grace and mercy and wisdom here in Chattanooga. The National Day of Prayer today is involving an estimated 46,000 groups all across the country, in towns, in cities, in parks, in homes, in places of gathering all across the country. Roger Helly, what is the National Day of Prayer about? Why is it important for my listener to understand the cause of it, the reason for it?
Well, the National Day of Prayer has been around for a long time, and it's been a holiday proclaimed by President Truman starting in 1952, the first Thursday of May, where we as Americans, Christians, people that know that we need God to move in our country, we need God to change the culture, change our moral atmosphere, and so the National Day of Prayer here in Chattanooga, people will be coming together tonight at Chattanooga Christian School. We invite the listener to come 6 to 7:30 in the auditorium to pray locally and nationally to see something happen, see a move of God happen in our country.
Well, what are the kinds of things, what kind of specifics will these Christian folks be praying about, Roger Helly?
Well, we'll be praying for, first of all, as Christians, we need to repent for not having compassion, not being taking a stand for the things that are good, that are right. And we'll be asking God to forgive us, and then we'll be asking him to move upon the hearts of both us locally here, our local officials, move in the neighborhoods where there's the gang violence, move in the hearts of people of compassion to reach out to those that are hurting and touching hearts. So that's basically what we'll be praying for in a nutshell tonight.
So these folks will be asking God for individual repentance and the fruits of that, which are not just personal. They are potentially cultural. They are potentially civil. They touch law. They touch groups. They touch cities. They touch organizations, governments.
Right. We it's our nation is probably I'm 69 years old, David. I don't know when I've seen such division, such animosity, such anger being stirred up. A lot of it manufactured, but we realize that we have to not turn it back. Yes, we do have many problems in our nation, and we know that as individuals, we are helpless to be able to change that by ourselves. We need God to intervene in our nation to change the hearts.
And if there are evil things in our country, Roger Helly, on what basis can we say that God has brought them to us? For what are we deserving of his displeasure, if you will? What have we done as a country that God is judging, God is pouring his wrath upon?
Well, this is, I guess, maybe my personal opinion, but I think a lot of us as believers, as Christians, and even just citizens, believe that our nation was founded on Judeo-Christian ethics, and we, for several hundred years, those belief system in our courts and in our government allowed this country to become great and to see things happen that have never happened in history for any other nation. But in recent years, the last generation, we have turned away from those values. We have said we don't want God in our government, in our public discussion. Keep your belief to yourself, and we have turned away from those values. And as I said a moment ago, I believe our moral compass has spun out of control, taken us down into basically like a cultural sewer. And we believe that God is the only answer to that, because only God can change the heart of a person.
So you're implying then that if there are to be reforms, if there are to be improvements in the lot of the nation and all the millions of people who make up that nation, it has to really start with the house of God, if you will, the church.
Right. We could, it doesn't mean we as individuals stop doing what we can do. And I've always believed that, we do what we can do, but what we can't do is change a person's heart. That's when we trust God to do that which we cannot do. So we still need to work. We still need to do our best effort, try to relieve the suffering of other people, help people when we can, and do everything that we can do. But then when we hit up against the wall, that's when we ask God to do what we can't do.
And I guess
that's why we invite your listener to come tonight and join with us.
Go ahead. And again, just briefly, where is the event and how long is it? What briefly should my listener expect if he's going to participate or just to observe?
No, this is not a spectator sport. Tonight at 6:00 at Chattanooga Christian School on Charger Drive, we will be gathered together from 6 to 7:30, and we will have people lead us in segments of prayer. And this will be people praying in groups together, not just listening to somebody talk about prayer, but actually being a part of prayer.
Roger Helly.
Doors open at 5:30.
5:30. Roger Helly, you are overseeing or helping oversee the National Day of Prayer event here in Chattanooga, and your group meeting at Chattanooga Christian will be among an estimated 46,000 groups of faithful Christian children of God across the country praying, and it will be again at Chattanooga Christian. Roger, thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is David Tulis, and we are brought to you by Window Depot of Chattanooga. That's online at windowdepotofchattanooga.com. And also by Boyd Speedway, where there are uproarious Americana incidents and excitement all evening, every Saturday. And my name is David Tulis. I do thank you for giving me just a minute of your time here at Nooga Radio. We cover local economy here on my program. It's every day. Now, you, my listener, you could strongly boost my reach here in Chattanooga. You can increase it by 100% by telling a friend about my program, and that gives me two, right? Then I'll have two listeners, and that'll just make me happy. I always am glad to meet a listener, and I have the advantage in understanding that I have just one. That's just you. I have the great advantage and privilege of when I meet someone who listens to my show, I say, you're my listener, and I can have instantly a personal connection with that person. I met a woman in Dunlap a couple days ago in an office building, and she said, I know who you are. And I came in and I backed up and I went in and said, yes, ma'am, I'm David Tulis. She says, I know who you are. I listen to your show. I said, you are my listener. Thank you so much for being my listener. And it really just warms my heart to think that an individual would tune in to our radio station and hear what we have to say. We've got just a great lineup. We have Sean Hannity in the afternoon at 3. We've got Colin Cowherd in sports. We've got George Noory overnight in the deep night hours. If you're an insomniac, you can listen to George's speculations. We've got Alex Jones looking at the deep state and giving sometimes maybe a bit of a two-pat analysis on how things work. But we have him, and we're here for you, and I'm here for you. And I'm just delighted to think that I've got you, my listener, and that you've given me just a few minutes of your time. You have to understand that if you get just a few minutes of my program, you've gotten the news of the day. You've gotten the roundup, and I do want to get to the roundup next. The overall argument of how this roundup is created is this: that you should love your neighbor, you should buy local, and you should exercise your rights in plein air. Exercise your rights in plein air every day. And I argue that near is better than far, and that small is better than big. And down in the footnotes, well, hold it, I'm skipping one. In big type, still in big type, I've got simple is better than complex. And down in the footnotes, where the good people, right, the good people in Washington and Nashville argue against us, we say no, and we say that personal is better than corporate and physical is better than abstract. Now, I want to mention very exciting news in north of Chattanooga, north of Hamilton County, in Ray County. Nokian Tire is going to be building a plant. If you do a Google on the news site on Nokian, Nokin, you can see a beautiful rendering. It comes out at 7 megabytes of artwork available on the company website, also picked up by the Times Free Press. And it's a $360 million facility. It's huge. It will have, in the end, it will have work positions for 400 people in Ray County. And apparently, according to John Wilson at Chattanooga.com, picking up many of the details from press releases from the governor and from the company. Apparently going to be the largest direct foreign investment in the history of the county. Governor Haslam says Nokian Tires' decision to locate its new operation here is a tremendous win for Ray County and our state. And we want to thank Nokian Tires for its decision to invest in Southeast Tennessee. Now, tires is not spelled as we do, but in the English form, Tyres. We've worked hard to create the best possible environment for job creation, the governor says. And the recent passage of the Improve Act, that is to say the increased tax on gas and the reduced tax on food and other adjustments in the tax structure, played a critical role, he says, in attracting this great company to Tennessee. The company is out of Finland, and it's has a North American sales office in Vermont, and is the only tire manufacturer in the world, according to the company, that focuses on tires for special demanding conditions: snow, ice, mud. The total sale of tires is estimated to grow in coming years, according to Petteri Walden, the chairman of the board. With this investment, we will get the needed capacity for growth. And while the Dayton factory clearly enables us to serve our North American customers better and more efficiently, he says, it also improves our production capability and service throughout our global operations. So that's it shows that this Finnish company, Finland being a highly socialized and very gloomy place, the people there never smile, and everybody lives in an apartment. They are coming here to a much freer place north of Hamilton County. And the first tire, this company devised the very knobby tires back in 1934. Ray County has this to say. The mayor of Dayton, Mayor Lou Allen, says, "We are so proud to announce this opportunity with Nokian Tires. This investment will forever change the economic landscape of our entire region and provides hundreds of great paying jobs right here in Dayton." I'm also very proud of the City of Dayton team and the leadership that initially invested into Rail Hub South development to attract investments such as this one. So there you have a defense of commercial government, where the government, the municipal corporation creates, has a business interest, as they all do, and buys land and prepares it for an investor or a factory. And that is what happened just north of us in Dayton. So exciting news for Dayton. Now, there's a very fine story by a reporter, Jill Jelnick. She's a sports writer at TV3. It's a story about a young woman named Shelby Duggard, and she was at Silverdale Baptist High School, an ace pitcher, she says, in softball, and had a batting average of over .400. Her strong sophomore season even led to several college scholarships. But she had summer in her junior year. She had a medical problem, and she felt her arms go numb. She lost vision. She lost her hearing. She couldn't hear what her coach was saying to her that dreadful afternoon when her condition, her disease, caught up with her, and she was aware of it. She could not do anything. She fell down and passed out. She would be diagnosed later, according to Jill Jelnick's fine story about this young woman, with postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, which reduces blood flow to the heart, and it causes the heart rate to increase to compensate for the loss of blood flow. So you can't stand, and so she's bound in a wheelchair since August. She says, "It was super difficult for me. I remember being perfectly fine one day and not the next. I questioned God a lot," she says, "and didn't understand what was happening to me. I thought my plan was supposed to be playing softball. And so I was supposed to be reaching out people through softball. That was it." But she says something that I think that's very magnanimous. And you'll see this in Christian people. And you'll see this a great deal in the South. The South is the part of the of all the 50 countries that make up the United States Union. Those dozen in the South have really much more awareness of God, much more awareness of God, and you can see that in stories like this. And we read stories like this, and we just think, well, this is just the way things are. But if you go to a place like Minnesota or Wisconsin or Oregon, places in the North, places out West, Christianity is almost non-existent. It almost doesn't exist. People live very pragmatic and materialistic lives. They're followers of evolution. They are great consumers. They are people who don't have any open spiritual life, connecting with the God who's really there, right? The objective God. She says, I just felt I needed to do something with it, right? She had to have a new perspective on life. And so she says, God doesn't waste pain. It just took a long time to get to that state of mind that God does use the bad things for good. And there is a purpose for everything. So she has a new purpose in life. And rather than ministering with her Christian belief as a star, she's doing it from a wheelchair. She says, every morning I wake up and it's a choice to get up, she says, and I go to school and I reach those people with what I learned, or I can sit in my bed and feel sorry for myself. This is just, by the way, from Jill Jelnick's very fine story at TV3. You may have seen it yesterday, but if you missed it, this is it's online on TV3's website. The girl says, God has taught me it's not about myself. You don't find your strength in this world. I think it comes from God. I've been able to deal with it and not focus on it. There was a time I was focusing on it, and it kept me from what God had for me. So in other words, she was feeling sorry for herself, bemoaning her state, right? Her state in a wheelchair, not the star with the great arm, the great running legs, the fine throw, the great eye. She didn't have that. And so now she has become thankful, not just in her woe, right? That's the promise that the Christians who are praying tonight at Chattanooga Christian as part of the National Day of Prayer at 6:00. They're not just praying in our woes as a country, in our woes as a state here in Chattanooga, beleaguered by the judicial industrial complex, beleaguered by poverty, beleaguered by non-referential currency, beleaguered by taxation, by obstacles at every turn to prosperity, to godliness, right? The state itself has changed the definition of marriage. The state is confusing people. The state is deconstructing what God has given us. There are so many oppressions. The Gaddys case, think of the Gaddys case, an oppression if there ever was one. And yet we are not just to thank God and praise God and petition God in our distress, but for it. For it. That, I think, is what she's saying, this young woman. TV3 also has a story that I didn't notice elsewhere, so I just wanted to mention it. TV3, I think, is NBC, the best, it is probably the best TV station here, the most serious media platform. And a reference to a survey of downtown Chattanooga. And 1,000 people responding. And the points to note are the following: that most people think the downtown is clean and safe. Many object to panhandling, but the consensus is that what we encounter down there is not aggressive. In other words, it doesn't violate the ordinance against aggressive panhandling. That there are about 5 tests for aggressive panhandling. One is that you're touched. One is that the person's blocking your path. One is that the person persists in demanding $1 from you, even after you said no thanks, or I'm not interested, or I can't help you. Other respondents pointed out that downtown is a food desert. Now that's a little hard to believe. There seem to be quite a few restaurants downtown. I'm not quite sure why that result is part of the record. Others there's a want for Trader Joe's. That's a very high percent for that. Half said that downtown is a food desert. 37% that there's a need for a Trader Joe's retail outlet. And 10% need a grocery store. Of course, Bueller's closed down rather abruptly about 3 or 4 weeks ago, so that you can't shop easily down there. This is David Tulis, and we are here brought to you by Boyd's Speedway Saturdays. Go there Saturday for the great races. A best-kept secret of Chattanooga. Boyd's Speedway. We intend it to be a secret anymore. Here on the David Tulis program at Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and FM 92.7. Love your neighbor, buy local. Love your neighbor, buy local. Be prejudiced, okay? Be prejudiced. For what? For local over national, for near over far, for small over big, for simple over complex, for personal over corporate, and physical over abstract. I think we should enjoy our liberties in plein air. Plein air, by the way, is a form of art. Art done on the canvas outside in the sunlight. And we're going to hear how you do that and why it's a wondrous thing. Plein air art. David Tulis.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM News now. A lover's dispute almost leads to murder. Lanita Jean Binford, who's 34, from Orchard Knob, has been charged with attempted first-degree murder after a man says that she lunged at him with a knife but missed and then drove away in a car. The reason this all happened is because Miss Binford says that the man broke up with her and lied about being divorced. A police officer was right around the corner and arrested her after she sped off. The former vice mayor of Saudi Daisy is now suing the city after she fell and hurt her ankle badly. She's now suing the city for $175,000. C. Mark Warren is representing her. He says that she sustained significant injuries to her right leg at the Pioneer Day celebration when she tripped over a cinder block that was securing a tent. 15-year-old subject of an Amber Alert, Trinity Quinn, is now being tried along with Daniel Aaron Clark with criminal homicide and attempted auto theft and especially aggravated robbery after police believe that she was involved in the killing of a store clerk in Nashville. Heavy rains expected today. Drive with caution. If it's going on in the Tennessee Valley, it's going on. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Expect cloudy and wet weather for your Thursday with scattered showers and a few thunder showers marching in. Becoming windy, too. High temperatures into the upper 60s. Tonight, a break in the rain. Lows cooler near 50. Breezy, chilly Friday with scattered showers. High struggling to hit 55. Continued cool Saturday. Do you have a pesky tree that needs to be removed around your home or business? Call Paul Bunyan Tree Service at 423-421-2104. That's 421-2104. And I'm S'mores Gene Twells, Chief Meteorologist Patrick Orr.
On Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
I have the best steak selection in town. The name of the business is Don's Meat Shop, and I'm Donnie Raines. Just ask for Donnie. I make over 20 different types of sausages. Most of them are great for grilling. We have the best selection, best quality. We have the hard-to-find items. Don's Meat Shop.
Window Depot of Chattanooga. They're locally owned and operated and been around since 2008. Installing top-quality vinyl replacement windows. You get the best price and service in the area. Top-quality double pane, energy-efficient windows. They look great and save you money.
Oh, I love to save money.
You'll also save money on your heating and cooling costs. Call 894-0011. 894-0011. WindowDepotChattanooga.com. WindowDepotChattanooga.com. Sales and installation professionals. You'll get a fantastic job while helping to enhance the value, appearance, comfort, and efficiency of your most valuable asset, your home. Other window providers? No way. Window Depot Chattanooga's windows qualify for the TVA rebate. Sliding doors, gutters, soffits, fascia, garage doors, and other home improvements. If you want to save a ton, call 894-0011. WindowDepotChattanooga.com. WindowDepotChattanooga.com. Window Depot of Chattanooga. Sales and installation professionals.
And now to our reporter in the field.
We asked Ray at Ray's Plumbing what's important for homeowners to know.
Some field line systems can cost upwards of $10,000. The bottom line is to save yourself money down the road. I would definitely recommend everybody with a septic that is not on county or city sewer to have an inspection done by a qualified professional. It'd be great if nobody did inspections on them for all plumbing companies. That's what we do to make a living. Not to scare anyone, but it should be in the back of your mind. The danger is the field line failing and costing thousands upon thousands of dollars and tearing your yard up. By preventative maintenance, you're saving yourself a large headache that may displace yourself and your family. That happens more often than you think. The waste is designed to stay in the tank, and that waste will build up over time. Even with treatment, we have to help that waste break down. Ultimately, preventative maintenance is the key that will keep you from spending $5,000 to $10,000 on replacing your septic system. The bottom line is to save yourself money down the road.
Call Ray at Ray's Plumbing, 421-6341, 421-6341.
Need windows? Hey folks, do you need new windows? Good news. Window Depot of Chattanooga has a great special going on right now. 10 high-quality, energy-efficient double-hung vinyl windows installed for only $29.90. That's right, 10 double-hung vinyl windows, only $2,990. And yes, they qualify for the TVA rebates. Call 894-0011. Window Depot of Chattanooga today, located at 5950 Shalford Road. Call 894-0011 today. Competent, kind, caring, knowledgeable, experienced, great listener, great negotiator, in touch, accessible. If these are the characteristics you want and need in a realtor, you want and need Thomas DeMoss of Keller Williams Realty. Thomas is a very gifted realtor who puts the client's needs first. Whether you're buying or selling a home, Thomas is the realtor of choice. Thomas will help and guide you through each step of this very important process. For many of us, the purchase of a home is one of our largest investments and most important family and financial decision. Let Thomas use his 10 years of experience in the Chattanooga real estate market to give you the advantage you need when buying or selling a home. Buying a house? Thomas can help you navigate the emotional and somewhat anxious process of buying a home. For those of you who want to sell a house, Thomas uses his marketing and negotiating experience to help you sell your home for top dollar. Thomas is a local resident raising his family here in Hamilton County. He knows the area very well. For many agents, real estate is a job. With Thomas DeMoss, it's a passion and what he loves to do. Call Thomas today for a no-obligation consultation. He makes the process as simple as possible. Call 423-364-0028 and visit his website, northriverpropertygroup.com.
Need a tiller to get things going for the spring? Spiff up your porch, maybe your deck? Come on by and get a pressure washer at Action Rental. Family in town, need some tables and chairs for an event? Come on by and see us. Action Rental. This is Dan at Action Rental on Lee Highway. Come by and see me. Action Rentals.
It is Eric Jones hard into the outside wall, and they are still 3 and 4 wide. It looks like we're racing at Talladega.
Caution flag is out. It looked like Denny Hamlin was trying to get by Ricky Stenhouse. Got into the back of Ricky at the line. Man, that's a close one. Matt Kenseth wins stage 1.
Green checkered flag is out, and Brad Keselowski has won stage 2.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. into the wall. That will bring out the caution. Caution waving once again. And again, it's Dale Earnhardt Jr. involved.
Oh, trouble. Ty Dillon has gotten turned to the inside of the racetrack, and Clint Boyer has just nailed him.
Matt Kenseth falling back, the field storming by. Something wrong. Now we see sparks from Kenseth's Toyota.
Larson chucks him off. Coming off turn number 2. Nose to tail. Now it's Logano to the high side in 3.
Joey Logano, a winner here at the Richmond International Raceway.
Here at Live on Chattanooga's official NASCAR radio station.
Nooga Radio, AM 1240, 92.7 FM.
The voice of NASCAR.
I do thank you that you're giving me just a couple of minutes of your time. We are in the open air, if you will, though it seems that in north part of Chattanooga, there may be a bit of rain. It's dark outside. It's kind of moody, and it looks bleak, and you might have that bleak feeling. But often I like bleak days. There's a passage in a G.K. Chesterton essay in which he talks about, in the whole essay, he waxes lyrical over the beauties of when the sun is obscured and colors emerge more brightly when the sun is not there. When the sun is out and bright, everything is bright, and somehow there's no power of colors to rise to their calling, if you will. Now, someone who thinks a lot about colors and risings and sittings with her easel and her cap here in Chattanooga is Leah Salerno. She is a painter, and she is what's called a plein air painting. Leah, what does plein air mean? That's in French, isn't it?
Yes, that's open air painting.
Open air painting. Mm-hmm. So now that describes the act of painting, not the subject of the painting, right?
Exactly.
You're in the air.
You're outside.
You're outside.
The elements.
And you with your black ball cap.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay.
Yes.
No bonnet.
I don't wear a bonnet. Especially.
Okay, because there's a sort of stereotype of the plein air painter with the bonnet with a little ribbon waving in the breeze behind her as she sits there with her easel and her brush. Now, you have been painting for 2 years. You're a Kentucky native. You've been here since 1990.
Yeah.
And you've been involved in the medical field, a retired cardiac nurse.
Correct.
So you have a heart for the real heart, and then a heart also for being creative. What Leah Salerno got you into painting as you left your profession? What brought you there?
Well, I retired early because my husband was retiring, and invited me to try painting because he was starting to paint outside and it was eating into our time. So he said, please try it. And I tried it and am now addicted to it. And in all honesty, I am more of a studio painter. I spend about 15% of my time outside, but it's all joyful. And hopefully I will spend more time outside this year.
Is the digital camera a crutch or aid to you in the 15% of your time that you're in the open air, Leah?
Absolutely. Because I'm a rather new painter, I don't have the speed or the assurance to paint quickly. So I sketch, then I paint, and then I take it to the studio and finish it.
Now, a painting is not supposed to be an exact copy of a photographic image, is
Correct.
it?
Correct.
What's the difference between a photograph and a painting?
Oh, that's a good question. A photograph is 2D. It's
two-dimensional.
Yes, two-dimensional. The darks are very dark. The brights are very bright. You do not have accurate colors in the shadow. You don't have the sense of depth. Although we have some fabulous photographers who can produce fabulous photos, a painting is more of a representation of what you're seeing. And it's an interpretation by the artist. If we have taken a group of 5 artists out and we all had 5 very different paintings.
Now, so what is it in your case when you are pursuing this active interpretation? You're not slavishly copying the lines and if you will, the dots in the painting. You're not slavishly trying to reproduce those. You are doing something more. You're not bound by what's there strictly. Yet it is representational in a way. But there's a lot of room for this interpretation. What happens to you in this interpretive process? Talk about the creative process. What you feel, what you're trying to accomplish, and how. And I guess the question after that is it possible to convey that to the viewer of your painting?
Well, that's a goal. And realistically, nature gives us some beautiful vistas, but oftentimes the composition is not pleasing to look at day after day for the rest of your life. So we have to make a visual path. And as we do this and become lost in the work, all of us left brain people switch to our right brain if it's a really good day. And it becomes a very personal, inspirational experience. You lose track of time. You don't get hungry. You may notice a bug bite or two, but you really get lost in the painting itself. This is 2.5 hours worth of work that we're looking at, the River Gorge.
Well, describe the man who's listening to us is not aware that I'm holding up between our 2 heads here in our studio at Nooga Radio a painting. It's a little damp. I'm holding it by the edges, and yet even they are moist because this work is incomplete, right, Leah?
Correct.
Leah Salerno, you're working on, and what we're seeing is just describe to my listener who doesn't have the benefit of Facebook or YouTube what we're looking at.
Okay, this is Williams Island in the distance with a beautiful afternoon, cobalt blue sky, and some fluffy clouds. It's about 5 o'clock in the evening, and they're starting to get a little gray. There's some light on the mountains. We've had a lot of rain, so there's flooding in the valley around the trees that are normally in grass. Now they're in water, and they're reflecting the beautiful colors of the sun that's starting to set. It's the golden hour. There's some deep shadows in the trees that are painted. And then right on the edge at the bottom of the painting, it's starting to be grassy where it's going back up the hill.
So when you, in your creative process, you are sort of melting into what you see, right? Your whole body, as it were, hand, toes, middle part, you're sort of melting into your arm, and there's not really you there anymore. You sort of disappeared into the arm and the fingers and the brush, and there's this your whole being is focused on the canvas through the stick. That's the brush, or several sticks, I guess, right?
That's very well said. I've never thought of it like that, but I do feel very much that I'm part of that nature that I'm painting.
So when you're painting, the painter Leah Salerno, you are 57 years old, you're married, you sort of dissolve away, and then there's just the sense that you have the hand and the eyes, and you are. It is an interpretive act. It is a creative act. The painter is creative. He's not like you said. You're not slavishly copying a photograph, or even if you're there in the open air with the breeze on your face, and your glass is a little dirty, perhaps. That you're interpreting. You're creating something new based on what God put in front of you.
Absolutely. It's a very personal, intimate act. I find it almost worshipful. It's something that you don't have to be an artist to do. Obviously, I am in training. There's much more accomplished plein air painters, people who spend most of their time outdoors, but I don't think there's anyone who enjoys it any more than I do.
Well, we talk here about the act of painting. Leah Salerno you're a Chattanooga painter. How is it your fantasy that the viewer of this ordinary work, just a piece of routine art, let's just say, what is the effect that you want to have on him? Why, when my viewer looks at this painting, let's say on YouTube or on Facebook, or actually goes to a gallery where this may end up being shown, what do you want to happen to him? What does he have to do to appreciate the work that went into it, to appreciate that heightened state, if you will, that you applied to it in creating it?
As the viewer, I would ask that they start looking at it from about 8 feet back, because that's where most people look at the painting. I don't know that they can experience the euphoria I did, just unless they create their own painting. But for mine, I would hope it would give them a sense of calm and of wonder at the beauty of Chattanooga and the nature around us.
So that is the, you might say, the word that you're passing on, the thing that you're delivering. You're not doing this in a self-absorbed state. You always, or maybe you are, or do you have the idea of it being viewed and, let's say, consumed or viewed or seen? I mean, the work is not just onanistic. It's not just about you. It's about transmitting something to somebody else.
I want to share this new vision and passion with others. I feel like that's something that, as a human, we have to think of others and their experience with.
Now, what's your medium in this and other paintings, Leah Salerno?
This is a wooden panel with gesso, acrylic gesso, and then it has oil paint that is one layer, and it'll have at least one more layer. And then when it's almost dry, I'll apply a retouch varnish to bring out the colors, because they've already started to fade. And when it is dry, I'll put a varnish on it.
This is David Tulis, and we're being brought to you by Window Depot of Chattanooga. That's windowdepotofchattanooga.com. And Boyd Speedway, we cover local economy and the free markets, and a very vigorous argument for constitutional liberty, particularly touching on the question in the Dunlap election coming up on Saturday. If you go to Tennessee Star today, I expect that conservative, free market-oriented portal in Nashville will be publishing 2 essays I have coming out, and they are on this election. One is an endorsement piece. Read about constitutional government and how I argue that it should be vigorously and even joyously lived out, even in oppressive circumstances. We're talking now with Leah Salerno, who's a plein air painting. That means she's an open air painting. The word plein in French is full. A full glass is une verre vide, plein. A full glass, an empty glass, une verre vide. So you have full air, full or empty. And so it's full air, outside air painting that she's practicing. She's been at it for 2 years. Her husband also retired. Is that right?
Yeah.
You retired at the same time, though you're very young. You're a 57-year-old person and starting a new career. Is there a way you can make a living doing this, Leah, in the art world in the area?
Well, that's very exciting. Dave and I have just formed Salerno Art Studio, LLC, because when we joined this fabulous group that's new here in town, Artists on the Loose, our paintings began to sell, and it was doing so well, we formed a business for legal reasons. And now we have started our own business with these other artists. We're 12 independent professional artists who are loosely associated, but we have a studio that we share, a working studio at 1401 William Street. We have an event tomorrow night, May the 5th, at the studio, 1401 William Street, from 5 p.m. till 7. It's a fresh spring approach. We would like to have people come and look at the work and have a little refreshment and have some date night fun. We have open house most Fridays. I'm not sure how open it will be tomorrow in the day because we're having our event, but most Fridays from 10:30 to 2:30, we are there painting, working, having a good time. And we invite the public to come. Whenever we're there, we have a sign out on the sidewalk for people to know we're there and open and ready for business.
Now, these are artists who have a convivial and friendly nature, and they're not being interrupted by people looking over their shoulders and discussing what they're doing, right?
Not at all.
Among unfinished paintings.
Right. We aren't all working at once, and we welcome visitors. We especially welcome people who want to enjoy the art and buy the art. We encourage people to buy the art.
Okay, so we're talking here now about open house most Fridays, and that's at 1401 William Street. And tomorrow, which is Friday. Now that she's making a good point here. You, my listener, you're such a sluggard on some things, and your wife knows that your taste for art is not what she would like it to be. Wives tend to be more aware of the arts, and so I'd like to suggest that you do, my listener, is make a date of it tomorrow, and that's at the Artists on the Loose. Well, it's kind of an art cafe, I guess, where the artists are actually working. They share expenses, right?
Yes,
They share the rent.
Yes, we divide the rent.
In 12, and so it's not too much on any one of these poor souls who are painters. Mostly, they seem to be poor people. and the event is 5 to 7. It's now when you say a fresh spring approach, is that the name of it, or is that kind of what you're going to be discussing or talking about? What's going to be said at this event?
Well, each artist will talk about their own work, but we were just looking for a title for our open house. And because it is spring and people tend to clean house in the spring, we figure they need some new art. And each artist comes to the studio with their own style, although we are representational artists for the most part.
Now, is representational art coming back from the Vogue days of the 40s and 50s and 60s when you had very, very modern and very, maybe violent types of art that were not representational at all, but just wild lines on canvas and so on?
Yes, I have seen in my limited appreciation a definite revival of representational art and people paying attention to what makes a painting beautiful for those who like representational art. It's no longer looked down upon as it was in those years that you talked about.
Right. So the artist is not, those artists they were really revolutionaries. They were trying to shock people. They were trying to show that the masses were just the slugs of society. And we are better than you. We have a mission to elevate men and men and women. And so we have these meaningless works that are often just about us. They're often with no, I think many of these modern artists, Leah Salerno, have no ability to paint anything representation. In other words, they have no skill. They have no painting skills, but they have shock skills and idea skills, which they put forth in their presentations. But they don't know how to actually paint. I'm suspecting. What do you think about that suggestion?
I think that may be true on some people's work, but I do think people buy the artist as much as they buy the art. So everyone identifies with what kind of art speaks to them.
Does your art have a cause, as some of these modernistic painters do? No cause, huh?
No, right now I'm exploring what is calling me. So while this is a landscape, which I've been trying to begin to improve my landscape painting, I also am working on portrait and figure. So I don't have a calling yet. I'm still exploring.
Well, that's I would say a very modest answer, and I would assure you, Leah Salerno, that you really don't have to have a calling in the sense of my question, but it does seem that you have been called to paint. Now, there's something there's a silent auction coming up in just a few days in benefit to the Tennessee River Gorge Trust. What's that about, and what is your role there, Leah?
Well, this painting was done at the Tennessee River Place where the event will be held. And the Tennessee River Gorge Trust protects 17,000 acres of the 27,000 acres of the Tennessee River Gorge. It's a very important biosphere because of the diversity of the flora and fauna. And every year they have an event. This year it's another gorgeous evening. And this painting, it will be sold along with 10 other paintings at the silent auction to raise money for the Tennessee River Gorge Trust and their work. The different artists, there's photographers, there's painters, and the tickets are on sale now at trgt.org/tickets. Through tomorrow, they're $25 cheaper. After tomorrow, they become $150 a piece. But this is a very important organization that benefits our world, not just our local area.
Now, will you be giving away your painting there? Is that
No,
what you're doing?
It's a silent auction, so they will start at a set price, and then people will bid on it.
And now that's one of your paintings will be there.
This one, yes.
Okay, that was the one I was holding up a moment ago.
It's a view of the Williams Island and the Tennessee River.
So that's very good. Now, what about portraits? Just quickly, are you game for my listener to contact you about having a portrait of his teenage son, 17, going to be graduating soon? He's thinking of doing something better than just a senior portrait. What about that?
Right now, I'm not up for commissions. I'm painting grandchildren, but I attend Townsend Atelier for many workshops, and my painting is improving, and so hopefully within the near future, I can do that.
And I'm holding up here for our viewer on YouTube and our other viewer on Facebook. What does this get up? It holding a row of brushes like soldiers of different size.
Yeah, this is a portable brush carrier, and I take it when I plein air paint or when I paint downtown at the studio, 1401 William Street, with the Artists on the Loose. It's just a few of the brushes that I use.
And this is David Tulis, and we're so glad that you could give us a couple minutes of your time. You are a listener here at the David Tulis program at Nooga Radio. We are 92.7 FM. And AM 1240. Leah Salerno, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, David.
And how can my listener get a hold of you?
I am at artistsontheloose.com. It's our new website, or we're on Facebook at Artists on the Loose, and there's a phone number and website there.
This is David Tulis. Make sure you go to Nooganomics, our chief sponsor here on the David Tulis program. That's Nooganomics.com. But I'm writing now for TennesseeStar.com, TennesseeStar.com. A bit too Republican for my taste, but it has many conservatives and free market oriented people, and it has published all of my wild and crazy and very insightful, penetrating texts thus far. So go there today. I'm expecting 2 pieces to come out about the crisis in Dunlap, Tennessee, a constitutional conflict over the right to be free from arbitrary searches and seizures absent a warrant for probable cause. I know that sounds like a mouthful, but because that protection is there, you can't be arbitrarily stopped and searched because there has to be a probable cause to search you. And that protection you have is being violated against an elderly couple, the Gaddys. David Tulis here, Nooga Radio.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
I've been a customer at SNS 14 years. It's way out of my way, but I'm well treated. I believe what I'm told. Price is reasonable. David Tulis here. Make an SNS appointment today. This week, get $50 off any 30,000-mile service or timing belt repair. And get a free combat knife as a gift. SNS Auto Repair specializes in Toyota, Lexus, Honda, Acura, Scion, Nissan, and Infiniti. 6-time winner of Best of the Best Award in the Times Free Press. 855-3436. ssautorepair.net. 855-3436.
Need a tiller to get things going for the spring? Spiff up your porch, maybe your deck? Come on by and get a pressure washer at Action Rental. Family in town, need some tables and chairs for an event? Come on by and see us. Action Rental. This is Dan at Action Rental on Lee Highway. Come by and see me. Action Rentals.
Are you shovel ready to build a house, but you're not a builder? Are you shovel ready? Michael's Homes is ready to bulldoze its way to a solution for you. You have ideas on what you want in a house, but you're looking for someone to bring your ideas into a plan and turn your plan into a house. Michael's Homes, custom builder. Michael's Homes has lots available at a new subdivision, River Bay Estates. That's Harrison. Maybe River Watch in Saudi Daisy. Choices galore. Lots, houses, beautiful homes all over Chattanooga. The Canyons, Hickson. Crystal Brook, Appleton. Drive in. Take a look. Consult with us. We build on your lot or ours. Homes-Chattanooga.com.
Call 423-413-9929.
Selection in town. Name of the business is Don's Meat Shop, and I'm Donnie Raines. Just ask for Donnie. I make over 20 different types of sausages. Most of them are great for grilling. We have the best selection, best quality. We have the hard-to-find items. Don's Meat Shop.
If I'm the city's most intelligent man, it's because I take 2 shots of Mind Enhancement Complex every day. Nature's Finest keeps me stocked with my mainstay, Formula 4. That's where I start. Formula 4. Industrial farming, soil depletion, mineral empty food. I just say no. Ask about supplements, health, stamina, circulation, heart, prostate under control. Get the Nooga Radio David Tulis freebie. Save $2 on every 5, 20% off. Nooga Radio, the highway, nature's finest.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader, Nooga